Stop scrolling through travel blogs that tell you to relax on a beach. That's not what this video is about. I'm about to show you 10 experiences that'll make your heart race so fast, you'll forget what boredom even feels like. And if you've never tried any of these, you're missing out on what travel is really supposed to feel like. Look, there are two types of travelers in this world. The ones who sit by the pool sipping cocktails, and the ones who actually feel alive. If you're watching this, I'm guessing you're the second type. Or at least you want to be. Today, we're counting down 10 adrenaline-pumping experiences that'll push you out of your comfort zone and give you stories you'll actually want to tell people about. These aren't your typical tourist activities. These are the moments that'll make you realize why you started traveling in the first place. Here's the thing, though. Most people never do any of this stuff. They dream about it, sure. They save those Instagram posts and tell themselves one day. But that day never comes. Why? Because they're scared. Because they think it's too dangerous. Because they convince themselves they're not the type of person who does these things. And you know what happens? They get old, look back, and realize they played it safe their entire lives. Don't be that person. Life's too short to wonder what could have been. Number 10. Hot air balloon ride at sunset. Let's start with something that sounds calm, but trust me, it's not. Floating thousands of feet above the ground in a basket held up by hot air and some fabric? That's insane when you think about it. But here's why it makes the list. The moment you lift off the ground, your stomach drops. You're standing there holding onto the edge of this basket, watching the world get smaller and smaller below you. The best places to do this are Cappadocia in Turkey, where you're floating over these weird rock formations that look like they're from another planet. Or Bagan in Myanmar, where thousands of ancient temples stretch out below you as far as you can see. The sunset version hits different because the sky turns into this crazy mix of orange, pink, and purple while you're just hanging there in the air. People think hot air balloons are romantic and peaceful. Sure, maybe. But the first time you hear that burner blast fire above your head and feel the heat on your face, you realize you're in something that could drop out of the sky at any moment. That's the thrill. You're trusting physics and a pilot you just met 20 minutes ago. The whole ride usually lasts about an hour, but those first few minutes when you're rising up and the ground is falling away, that's pure adrenaline. And when you finally land, usually in some random field, you'll have this huge smile on your face because you just did something most people will never do. Number 9, street food tour. Wait, street food? How is that adrenaline? Let me explain. Eating street food in a foreign country where you don't speak the language and you have no idea what you're putting in your mouth takes guts. You're trusting some stranger who's cooking out of a cart on the side of the road. No health inspections, no reviews, just you, them, and whatever mystery meat they're grilling. Bangkok, Thailand is the king of street food tours. You're walking through crowded night markets, pointing at things you can't pronounce, and hoping your stomach can handle it. Vietnam's street food scene in Hanoi will blow your mind. You're sitting on tiny plastic stools that are way too small, eating pho at 6 a.m., while motorbikes are flying past you inches away. Mexico City has tacos that'll either be the best thing you've ever eaten or send you running to the nearest bathroom. That's the gamble. The adrenaline comes from not knowing. That skewer could be chicken, could be something else entirely. Those noodles might be so spicy they'll make you cry in public. And you know what? That's the fun part. You're stepping outside your comfort zone food-wise, and that's just as scary as jumping off something for a lot of people. Plus, street food is where you actually taste a country, not in some fancy restaurant. On the street, where real people eat real food. You'll try things you never thought you'd put in your mouth, and half the time it's amazing. The other half, well, that's what the adrenaline is for. You're taking a risk with every bite. Number 8, scenic trekking. Trekking sounds boring until you're 4 hours into a climb, and your legs are screaming, and you're wondering why you ever thought this was a good idea. But then you reach the top, and everything makes sense. The Inca Trail to Machu Picchu in Peru is probably the most famous trek out there. 4 days of walking through mountains, ruins, and cloud forests. You're camping at night, waking up sore, and doing it all over again. But when you finally walk through the sun gate and see Machu Picchu sitting there in the mist, you forget about the pain. Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania is another beast. It's not technically difficult, but the altitude will mess you up. You're climbing for days, getting thinner and thinner air with every step. Some people turn back because their bodies just give up. But if you make it to the summit, you're standing on the roof of Africa watching the sunrise. That's worth the suffering. Then there's the Everest Base Camp trek in Nepal. You're not climbing Everest, but you're getting close enough to see it. 2 weeks of walking through Himalayan villages, crossing suspension bridges over massive drops, and dealing with altitude sickness. The whole time you're surrounded by the biggest mountains on Earth. It's humbling and terrifying at the same time. The adrenaline in trekking comes from pushing your body further than you thought it could go. Every step when you're exhausted is a mental battle. Your brain is telling you to quit, but you keep going. And when you finally reach whatever summit or destination you're aiming for, you prove to yourself that you're tougher than you thought. That's a rush you can't get from anything else. Number 7, quad biking in the desert or mountains. Picture this. You're straddling a 4-wheeled machine with an engine that sounds angry. Someone gives you a 30-second tutorial on how not to die, and then you're off. Quad biking is chaos in the best way possible. In Dubai, you're ripping through sand dunes that are taller than buildings. You're going up these massive slopes where if you don't give it enough gas, you'll roll backwards. Then you're flying down the other side, trying not to flip over. In Morocco, you're tearing through the Sahara Desert during sunset when the sand turns gold. You're following a guide who's going way too fast, and you're trying to keep up while sand is pelting your face. In the mountains of Bali or somewhere like Colorado, you're navigating rocky trails where one wrong move means you're tumbling down a cliff. The machine is bouncing over rocks and roots, and you're holding on for dear life. The best part about quad biking is that it's just you and the machine. No safety net, no instructor sitting next to you taking over. You're in control, and if you screw up, that's on you. The speed, the terrain, the fact that you could easily crash makes every minute intense. Your arms are tired from gripping the handlebars, your face is covered in dust or sand, and you're grinning like an idiot the entire time. It's dirty, it's loud, and it's addictive. Once you do it once, you'll want to do it everywhere you go. Number 6, snorkeling or scuba diving. Going underwater is weird. Humans aren't supposed to breathe down there, but we figured out a way to do it anyway. Snorkeling is the easier version. You're floating on the surface with a mask and a tube, looking down at a completely different world. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is the obvious choice, but it's dying, so go soon. You're swimming over coral that's bright blue, yellow, pink, every color you can imagine. Fish are everywhere. Some are tiny, some are huge, and they don't care about you at all. Scuba diving takes it up 10 levels. Now you're actually going down there, 30, 40, 60 feet below the surface. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. All you hear is your own breathing through the regulator. It's peaceful but also terrifying because you're very aware that you can't just swim up quickly if something goes wrong. You have to go slow or your lungs could literally explode. Fun fact to think about while you're down there. The best diving spots are places like the Maldives, where you're swimming with manta rays that have wingspans wider than a car. Or Palau, where you're diving with sharks. Not the friendly kind, the big ones. Or cenotes in Mexico, where you're diving in these underground caves that ancient Mayans thought were portals to the underworld. And honestly, when you're down there in the darkness with just your flashlight, you can see why they thought that. The adrenaline rush comes from being somewhere you don't belong. Every breath reminds you that you're depending on equipment to keep you alive. And when you see something big swimming toward you in the murky water, your heart rate spikes even if it's just a harmless turtle. But that feeling of weightlessness, of flying underwater, of seeing things most people will never see, that's what makes it worth it. Number 5, river rafting. Whitewater rafting is organized chaos. You're in an inflatable boat with a bunch of strangers, everyone holding a paddle, and someone yelling instructions that you can barely hear over the roar of the water. Then you hit the rapids. The boat is bouncing, water is crashing over everyone, and you're paddling as hard as you can, trying not to fall out. Because people do fall out. And when they do, they get swept downstream while everyone else is trying to grab them. The Zambezi River below Victoria Falls in Africa has some of the craziest rapids in the world. Class 5 rapids, which means they're borderline suicidal. The rapids have names like the Devil's Toilet Bowl, which should tell you everything you need to know. You're getting thrown around, the boat is nearly flipping, and the guide is screaming at everyone to paddle. It's pure chaos for hours. The Colorado River through the Grand Canyon is another legendary rafting spot. You're going through rapids surrounded by canyon walls that are thousands of feet high. Some of the rapids are so big they have scouting points where the guides get out and look at them first to plan the route. That's when you know it's serious. In Nepal, the Koshi River is steep and fast. It's not as famous, but it'll scare you just as much. The rush comes from the loss of control. You can paddle all you want, but the river's in charge. It's going to take you where it wants, and you just have to react. When you finally hit calm water and everyone's laughing and soaking wet, you feel like you survived something together. It's a bonding experience, and then you do it all over again at the next set of rapids. Number 4, paragliding. Imagine running off a cliff. That's what paragliding is. You're strapped to a parachute, you've got an instructor behind you if it's your first time, and you're standing at the edge of a mountain looking down at what seems like certain death. Then someone says run, and your brain is screaming at you that this is a terrible idea, but your legs start moving anyway. And then suddenly you're not on the ground anymore. You're in the air, the cliff is behind you, there's nothing below you, and you're just floating. Interlaken in Switzerland is one of the best places to do this. You're gliding over green valleys with the Alps in the background. The views are insane. New Zealand's Queenstown is another top spot. You're paragliding over lakes and mountains and you can see forever. Pokhara in Nepal gives you views of the Himalayas while you're flying, which feels unreal. And Uludeniz in Turkey is famous for its turquoise water and perfect flying conditions. The weird thing about paragliding is that once you're up there, it's actually peaceful. The terror is in the takeoff. Those first few seconds when you're running and then lifting off and your stomach drops. But once you're soaring, it's quiet. Just you, the wind, and the view. The instructor will do some turns that'll make you dizzy and might even let you control it for a bit. The landing is another moment of panic because you're coming in fast and trying to run as you touch down so you don't faceplant into the ground. But the whole experience is this weird mix of terrifying and beautiful. Number 3, ziplining over forests or canyons. Ziplining is basically trusting a metal cable in a harness to not let you fall to your death. You're standing on a platform high up in the trees or on the edge of a canyon. Someone clips you in and then you jump, or step off, or get pushed if you're too scared to do it yourself, and then you're flying. The wind is in your face, trees or ground are blurring below you, and you're moving fast, really fast. Costa Rica has some of the longest and highest zip lines in the world. You're flying through the rainforest canopy, and the lines are so long your arms get tired from holding on. Monteverde Cloud Forest is famous for this. You're zipping through actual clouds. In South Africa, you can zipline across a canyon with a river far below. In Nepal, one of the steepest and fastest zip lines goes down a mountain with views of the Himalayas. You hit speeds that feel illegal. The thing about ziplining is there's a moment right before you go where your body is fighting you. Everything in your brain is saying this is not natural, don't do this. But then you go anyway. And the second you're on that cable, the fear turns into excitement. You're screaming, but you're also laughing. Some zip lines let you go upside down or Superman style. Others spin you around so you don't know which way you're going. By the end of a zipline course, which can be anywhere from 5 to 15 different lines, you're addicted. You want to go faster, higher, longer. Number 2, rock climbing. Rock climbing is a full-body battle against gravity and your own fear. Indoor climbing at a gym is one thing. Outdoor climbing on real rock is completely different. Your fingers are cramping, your arms are burning, and you're trying to find the next hold while your feet are on edges smaller than your fingertip, and you're looking down at a drop that would definitely hurt if you fell. Yosemite in California is the mecca for rock climbers. El Capitan is this massive vertical wall of granite that takes days to climb. But there are easier routes too for people who aren't insane. Thailand's Railay Beach is another famous spot. You're climbing limestone cliffs with the ocean below you. The rock is sharp and full of pockets and edges. It's challenging, but beautiful. In Spain, El Corro has a mix of climbing routes that range from beginner to expert, and the Alps offer climbing that'll test even experienced climbers. The adrenaline in climbing comes from the exposure. You're very aware of how high you are. Even with ropes and safety gear, your brain doesn't fully trust it. Every move up is a small victory. Every time you reach for a hold and your hand slips, your heart stops. But when you finally pull yourself over the top of a climb, when you're standing there catching your breath and looking at the view you just earned, you feel unstoppable. Climbing is as much mental as it is physical. You're constantly fighting the voice in your head that wants you to give up. And when you beat it, that's the real high. Number 1, bungee jumping. And here we are. Number 1, the king of adrenaline, bungee jumping. This is the one that separates people who talk about doing crazy things from people who actually do them. You're standing on a platform, bridge, or crane hundreds of feet in the air. Someone ties a thick elastic cord to your ankles. You look down at the ground or water or canyon floor way below, and then you have to jump. Not fall. Not get pushed. You have to make the conscious decision to step off into nothing. The Kawarau Bridge in Queenstown, New Zealand is where commercial bungee jumping started. It's 141 feet above a river. The Bluekrans Bridge in South Africa is even higher at 709 feet. That's one of the tallest bungee jumps in the world. The Verzaska Dam in Switzerland is famous because it was in a James Bond movie. It's 721 feet. That's a 7-second free fall before the cord catches you. Macau Tower in China offers a 764-foot jump. At that height, you have time to think about your life choices on the way down. The moments before you jump are the worst. Your body is in full panic mode. Your heart is pounding so hard you can hear it. Your hands are shaking. Your legs feel like they might give out. The instructor is counting down, 3, 2, 1, and you jump or you don't. A lot of people freeze. They stand there, try to talk themselves into it, and can't do it. But if you do jump, that first second is pure terror. You're falling, fast. The ground is rushing up at you. You're screaming. Everyone who bungee jumps screams. And then the cord tightens and you bounce back up. You're swinging in the air, upside down, and all that fear turns into this crazy euphoria. You're laughing, yelling, maybe crying a little. You just jumped off a bridge and survived. The rebound is almost as intense as the fall. You're bouncing up and down, the blood is rushing to your head, and you're seeing the world from an angle you never have before. Eventually, they lower you down or pull you back up, and when your feet touch solid ground again, you feel like a different person. You just prove to yourself that you can do something that terrifies you, and that feeling stays with you. People who bungee jump talk about it for. So, there you have it. 10 experiences that'll make you feel alive. The thing is, all of these things are available. You can book them right now if you wanted to. The only thing stopping you is you. That voice in your head that says it's too dangerous, too expensive, too scary. But let me tell you something. The people who do these things aren't special. They're not braver than you. They're not richer than you. They just decided to stop making excuses. They booked the trip, showed up, and did it. And now they have memories and stories that most people don't. You can be one of those people. Or you can keep scrolling through social media looking at other people living while you stay comfortable and safe. That's your choice. Look, I'm not saying you need to do all 10 of these, but pick one. Just one. The one that scares you the most. Because that's the one you need to do. That's the one that'll change something in you. Maybe it's bungee jumping. Maybe it's just trying street food in a place where you don't speak the language. It doesn't matter which one you choose. What matters is that you choose. Stop planning and start doing. Life is happening right now, and these experiences are out there waiting. Go chase them. Get uncomfortable. Feel your heart race. Collect stories, not things. And when you're old and looking back, you'll be glad you did. If this made you want to book a flight, hit subscribe.